how I'm asking you a different question.
It was formed 2.5 years after the tragedy in Benghazi.
Time. Mr. Chairman,
not
I'm
before
reclaiming
the
my
CARES
time.
Act even
You might not be wearing a mask, but you adhere to the rules of this committee while you're here, Mr. Jordan, okay?
I'm following the rules.
Okay, yes, and I'm telling you, I'm reclaiming my time.
6 feet social distance.
I'm reclaiming my time.
That's why
I was thinking I was going to elaborate on the answer when you cut me off to ask me the question again, please.
Well, continue, Mr. Jordan, because everybody's always violating your rights, so I'm going to give you all the time you want.
No one's violating my rights.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I cannot accept the counterfeit outrage of people upset about the fact that we're creating a committee to conduct oversight over the trillions of dollars of the taxpayers' money that's going out the door to try to clean up after the messes created by the government. I can't accept that counterfeit outrage. Mr. Jordan, do you know how many investigations were launched in Congress into the 2012 Benghazi attack?
I served on the select committee, and I will tell you what.
Do you know how I'm asking you a different question.
It was formed 2.5 years after the tragedy in Benghazi.
Reclaiming my time. The question I posed was how many investigations were there? Mr. Jordan was upset that he thinks there may be 8 investigations into the money that we're spending to deal with the pandemic.
Not maybe, there are. There are 8.
Excuse me, the time is mine, Mr. Jordan. We're not in the Benghazi committee right now. We're in the Rules Committee. The chairman's right over there. There were 10 investigations conducted. 10 investigations conducted in the 2012 Benghazi attack. 6 of them by Republican-controlled House committees. 5 House committees, Armed Services, Foreign Affairs, Intelligence, Judiciary, Oversight, and Government Reform. Then the Select Committee investigation was formed. Mr. Jordan served on the Benghazi Select Committee. It cost more than $6 million over 2.5 years. It was disbanded at the end of the 114th Congress. And guess what? They found that Hillary Clinton, they could not find anything wrong that Hillary Clinton had done. It led to no prosecutions at all, millions of dollars later. But in any event, let me ask you, so we get the counterfeit outrage that there might be 8, God forbid, 9 committees that could do investigations into the trillions of dollars we're spending to clean up the mess of the government of the United States. And there were 10 investigations into Benghazi. Now think about that.
Do you oppose the use of criminal contempt charges against people who refuse to testify before Congress?
No, we've used it. I mean, we contempt Lois Lerner after a year of hearings and investigations.
You sure did, didn't you? You said the U.S.
Lerner.
attorney had a legal duty to go to the grand jury, didn't you?
Well, it says shall. When the Congress voted for contempt, it says shall go to the grand jury. That U.S. attorney didn't.
That's right. And you also said the U.S. attorney unilaterally decided to ignore the will of the House of Representatives.
It's true.
You said Mr. Manchin was legally bound to convene a grand jury, but indeed he ignored his obligation and unilaterally decided to ignore the will of the House of Representatives. Don't you think it's important that when we're exercising our Article I powers to get the evidence we need in order to legislate, that people obey the subpoenas of the United States House of Representatives? You used to believe that, Mr. Jordan. Do you no longer believe that?
Once a legitimate investigation, sure.
All right.
Sure.
Well, look, let me remind you what you said when Attorney General Holder was held in criminal contempt of Congress. We simply want the facts because Attorney General Eric Holder will not provide what the law requires. We are left with no other option except to hold him in contempt. We're doing the exact same thing, Mr. Jordan, with all the bluster about the border and all the other nonsense you're talking about with Russia and everything. We are holding him in contempt for violating a subpoena of the United States House of Representatives.
There wasn't some special select committee that Republicans were not permitted to serve on that issued those subpoenas. That's not the case.
All right, well, let's close with this. Mr. Jordan, why did you vote against the commission of 5 Republicans, 5 Democrats equals subpoena power? Why did you oppose that? Are you also not interested in what happened to us on January 6th?
Of course, everyone is interested in holding people accountable who did wrong. The FBI is doing that. The Justice Department is doing that appropriately. So what I'm not interested in.
Why did you have all those Benghazi investigations if you don't think Congress should be investigating?
Because Hillary Clinton misled the American people.
Mr. Chairman, I yield back to you. I yield back to you, Mr. Chairman.
May 13th, activists left threatening messages on the front of the Alpha Pregnancy Center in Reisterstown, Maryland.
May 18th, vandals targeted a women's faith-based medical clinic in Auburn, Alabama. May 25th, Linwood, Washington, pro-abortion activists smashed windows, vandalized the Next Step Pregnancy Center, left the threat on the outside of the building, and graffiti, "If abortion isn't safe, you aren't either."
When this hearing began, the gentleman from Ohio rattled off a list of incidents of vandalism and graffiti and break-ins at churches taking place, and he mentioned several of them in my district. And I want to say that I denounce and I categorically reject these outrageous acts of vandalism and graffiti and break-ins against churches in my district, regardless of who did them, left, right, or center. This must end, and this is not a proper way for anyone to treat other people's property or churches or to express political opposition. Now, does the gentleman from Ohio and to his colleagues on that side of the aisle reject the acts of the already proven acts of murder and violence that have been taking place against doctors, nurses, police officers, and healthcare providers, not over the last several weeks or months, but over the last several decades? Did they denounce the murder of OBGYN Dr. David Gunn of Pensacola, Florida, who had been the subject of wanted posters by Operation Rescue? Do my colleagues did they denounce the murder of Dr. John Britton, a physician, and James Barrett, a clinic escort, also shot to death in Pensacola, Florida? I could go on all day. I just have a couple of minutes. Murders, assaults, kidnapping. Where do they stand on all of these? Hundreds and hundreds of acts of violence against abortion clinics, or do they just oppose incidents that take place? We don't know by who, for example, in my district yet, but presumably they think by people on the other side. I denounce it all. Do they denounce it all? I hope that they would. The weaponized MAGA campaign isn't exactly partisan. It is entirely political because it's got an overriding electoral focus, and you know what it is. It's all about restoring Donald Trump, the twice impeached former president, to the office he lost by 7 million votes in 2020 and tried to steal back in a political coup and violent insurrection against our constitutional order on January 6, 2021. You disagree? Well, please don't take my word for it. As our chairman might say, just listen to what Chairman Jordan himself had to say 6 months ago at the Conservative Political Action Conference in Dallas, where he was predicting GOP victory in the 22 elections and promising that oversight of Hunter Biden's laptop and the claim that the federal government is treating moms and dads, like the ones in this room, like terrorists, would be the centerpiece of the GOP's work in the House when they got it back into power. Relaxing with a friendly interviewer, Chairman Jordan gave the game away entirely. Quote,
"All those things need to be investigated just so you have the truth. Plus, that will help frame up the 2024 race when I hope and I think President Trump is going to run again, and we need to make sure that he wins."
This call to arms for the 2024 presidential election was met with wild applause from the CPAC audience. I urge every member of this subcommittee to go and watch the interview.